Hello everybody, it's Bourbon Bill, and tonight, a very special episode. Oh, I can't wait. Tonight we are doing the Old Label versus New Label Old Forester Whiskey Row series. Will the new bottles be better or worse? Stay tuned to find out. Alright, so through the magic of editing, we're going to splice these series of tastings back here together so you won't even know. But I took a little time between each one of these as we go through them. So, we're doing the Whiskey Row except 1870 because no one cares about 1870. Whoops, I said it. To me, it was the worst of the Whiskey Row series, and there's, I think, better things out there for the $40 or whatever that it commands generally a bottle. So I didn't feel like buying a bottle of the new one to do it, and the old one's long gone. Gave it away. So we're gonna start in, you know, lowest proof to highest. We're gonna start with the old 1910. 1910, old fine whiskey. So this comes in at 93 proof. It is a double oaked or double barreled whiskey. It says in 1910. Whoa, shocker. Man, that's why it's called 1910. A fire on Whiskey Row led to Old Forester being re-barreled into heavily charred barrels. This double barreled expression follows the same process as the original old fine whiskey. So I have a small little sample bottle of the old label, and then I have obviously enjoyed a good bit of this new label bottle here. So we're gonna see which one's better. Alright, so my wife poured these blind. We got one in the gold Glencairn and one in the crystal clear. So we'll just start with the old gold, and then we'll give you a nosing and then my guesses. So, oh man, sweet marshmallow, hint of cherries. I get like a hickory smoke almost on the nose on this. Some confectioner sugar. Alright, take a sip. Pure deliciousness. Heavy on the flavor. I get like vanilla, the lot of marshmallow coming through, some char notes. Like that double oak, like that oak, obviously oak's present in this, comes through. Delicious. Alright, clear glass. So this has similar notes, obviously, but I'll say that there's more cherry coming through on this. The oak and cherry feels a little sharper on this one. Very good nose. This one, the flavors, well, I should say the flavors, the scents seem to come together a little better on this glass. Alright, let's take a sip. Wow. So I get the marshmallow again, but there's a lot more like fruit and like wood char and like smoke mixed into this one. So I get the cherries brighter on this one. I actually think the flavors meld together better in this one. So let me just double check it, but I think we're going to give the win to the clear glass. Going back a second time, the gold here has a little bit of like a, it has like a little bit of a damp oak on the back that this one's missing. Both very good, don't get me wrong. Clear winner to the clear glass. Honestly, it's been so long since I had old 1910, I'm not sure which is which. So let's get the answer key here. Alright, got the answer key. Clear glass is new 1910. So, new label 1910, better. It's better. So, if you like the old 1910, you'll like this one. They're not It's not vastly different. We're picking apart, you know, some minor differences. But the new one is better than the old label, in my opinion, for the 1910. There it is, 1897 bottled in bond. 100 proof, so we went up in proof a little bit. This just says, originally produced on Louisville's Whiskey Row. This whiskey embraces the definition of the act, introduced in 1897. Maybe that's why it's called that as well. Which inspired higher quality standards for the spirit industry. So there we go. Let's grab the glasses and do a little nosing and tasting. Alright, we are back with the gold and the clear here. So we'll start with the clear here, give it a nosing. Very good scent. I get like a little bit of a grain on this. Some youthful notes. But I get brown sugar, caramel. Kind of just your traditional bourbon scents and flavors. A little bit of vanilla. I'm not getting too much oak though on the nose on this one. Let's take a sip. It's pretty good. You get kind of the ethanol up front, and you get some brown sugar, some caramels, a little bit of vanilla at the end. Surprisingly, the 1910 drank a little hotter, being 93 proof. This is like, you know, pretty smooth, as some might say. It's pretty good. Alright, let's try the gold glass. Wow. Whoa, something way different. I'm getting way more like peaches or canned fruit cocktail maybe. I am getting just some oak in the back on this and caramel. Let's give this a sip. Ooh, a lot better. This to me is very high quality. Tastes more expensive. It kind of gets rid of the youthful notes. There's not a lot of ethanol up front at all on this one. You get kind of that burst of like fruit cocktail, we'll call it, followed by some caramels, a little bit of vanilla, and you do get like a little bit of oak on the back of this that kind of was missing from this. Yep, win goes to gold. Let's get the sheet and find out which is which. All right, we got the answer key here. The winner was the old 1897 in the gold. So, old label 1897 won. So, so far we're 1-1 here. We got the new 1910 winning and the old 1897 winning as well. So let me have my wife pour the next one's blind, and we'll get to you know, the big daddy, 1920, right? And we're back with 1920. There's the old label, and here's the new label. So, you know, they kind of cleaned up some of this weird writing and made this a little more modern. Modern's the word we'll use for that difference in the label. So, let's just read a few facts off the front here. I believe they're actually both the same. Oh no, they've changed the writing a little bit, but in 1920 during Prohibition, they got something going on with these dates and the names of these suckers, don't they? Osley Brown was granted a limited permit to bottle medicinal whiskey at 117 West Main Street on Louisville Whiskey Row. The typical barrel proof at the time prior to bottling was 115 proof. And my gosh, we got 115 proof here. Poured blind again. We got the gold and the clear going on. Start with the gold here. Deep caramels, vanilla. Just that sweet Old Forester profile. If you have 1920 and you love it and you know what it smells like, boom, here we go. Some oak in the background. Just a delicious nose. Alright, let's give it a sip. Real good. I get the, you know, the caramel, the brown sugar, the vanilla, the oak in here. But I'm getting, like, unfortunately, a good bit of youthful notes. There's a little bit of graininess to it, almost, coming through at the end. That I don't, you know, I have this love affair with Old Forester, and the 1920 was always, like, my favorite bottle to have around. And I mean, I've gone through several bottles of 1920 in my time, and I just don't remember that much youthful note being on them when I would drink them. But you know, those obviously as we progress in our journey, we get an affinity for different things and our palate changes. So let's try the clear glass here. Wow, oh, man, there's a better nose on this. The clear glass has more like, there's just like a hint of like cherry and like darker oak on this. I still get the caramel and the vanilla, but this smells older, and it has that like just like a little bit of a hickory scent. It's almost like the 1910. Alright, let's give it a taste. Worlds better. Worlds better. This, wow, the flavors blend together so much better. There's so much more sweet oak and caramel and vanilla, just kind of like crescending waves going through the palate. It's blended together a whole lot better. I don't get any youthful notes on this. That traditional Old Forester profile, if you will. Clear one for me is a clear winner. Oh, that was a good pun there, right? Clear one's a clear winner tonight for the 1920. So I'll say the 1910s were kind of, I don't know, they were kind of, so that was, you know, that was good. 1897, the old one just boom, laid the smack down on the new one. I think because I don't remember youthful notes, I'm gonna guess that actually the clear glass is the older 1920, and I hope I'm wrong, because I don't want the new one to be worse, but I think it could be. So let's get the answer key. Oh, the old trusty answer key. Clear glass is old label 1920. So there you have it. Man, it's a little disappointing. The old label 1920, buy them if you can find them on the shelf, because the new labels are not that good. I was hoping that when they changed the label, it wouldn't mean like a change in the product, but unfortunately, except for 1910, everything's gotten worse in the Whiskey Rose series. I, again, haven't sampled the 1870, but didn't bother with it in the olden times. That may have gotten worse as well. Funny enough, I believe like the Bourbon Junkies said the same exact thing. So I know they kind of went through this series as well, and they said everything got worse except 1910. It's exactly what we've come to the conclusion here tonight, doing these blind. My theory, though, is that 1920 was so good in the old label, right? And it really took off in popularity. So to really match demand, because they heat cycle, they started pulling younger stock. So again, there's no age statement, but they started pulling younger stock to fill the 1920 is my guess. Why does 1910 taste better? I think 1910 might taste better because 1910 is starting to see its popularity grow now. And I think that therefore they kind of let them age longer. They might have let them sit longer in the double barrel to see how that affected it. Old Forester's also coming out with like a very, or like older 1910 as part of their 117 series. So maybe they're just letting them age a little longer. For me, I always loved 1910 the most, and now I love 1910 even more because it's gotten better and 1920's gotten worse. So at the end of the day, if you only have the money to buy one, you buy yourself the 1910 because that is a fantastic pour. But if you do want high proof, the 1920, it's still good, but not as good as it once was. So if you like what you saw tonight, please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.